Hey guys, just a quick shout out to all of our generous patrons over at Patreon. Without you, our project wouldn't be possible. Visit patreon.com/MTG808Junior for more information.
We are rolling. Welcome in, everyone. This is Sean recording for MTG808 Junior. It's been a while since I've said hello to the interwebs, but I'm here, and I have got a very special guest with me today, Julian Jakobovits, aka the Prodigy from Hawaii. Is that a fair statement, Julian?
Sure. I'll take it.
So some of you that may have been following the project for a while may recognize Julian. He used to play in our youth tournaments. You came in second, notably. I think it was our second scholarship tournament. You came in second place. And how old were you then? You were probably like 14,
Yeah,
15?
yeah, about there.
Okay, but Julian is now graduated from high
18,
school.
yeah.
You have officially graduated out of our youth tournaments onto the bigger and better things. And he generously, you and your father collectively decided to donate the winnings back into the prize pool to kind of pay it forward to future youth players.
Yeah.
So big thank you to that. But now that you have reached this milestone where you would have been paid out, just wanted to kind of check in with you, see how everything is going, and see if you have any wisdom to impart upon the rest of the Magic community. So welcome, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been a fun journey through playing Magic all these years, and the standard popper, youth scholarships were very fun. When I started out, they were kind of they gave me a community of like kids to hang out with, which ended up I built onto that through like online, and I reached out to a bunch of other kids that play Magic online, and we have a community now with them. So that was kind of the start of it. But yeah, I'm just going into college next year in Seattle U, and playing competitive Magic, trying to be one of the best in the world is my dream. But
Okay,
you gotta remember where we started from.
awesome. That's great to hear. So you are planning on balancing the college and competitive Magic?
Yeah,
That's
I'll
the
try
plan?
my best on that.
Okay. Don't fall into the same trap as me and half-ass
Yeah,
both of them.
yeah.
I did not do very well in college because I was like, oh, I just want to play Magic, but then I like didn't fully commit myself to the Magic thing either, so I just kind of
Mm-hmm.
like wasted a lot of time in college. So don't fall into that trap.
Okay, that's good advice. I'll try not to.
Okay. So if you could just start by, some audience members may not be familiar with you. So just kind of lay out what have you accomplished in your Magic career. So because you've been playing for how many years now? When did you start playing?
Like my whole life since I was like 5. So
So a good 13
yeah,
years
yeah,
of playing
exactly.
Magic. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a long time. So in those 13 years, what are your big achievements? What do you look back
Okay.
on and be like, yeah, that was the good times.
Yeah. So a couple years ago, in like 2015, or when I was 15, so 2017, I won like a PTQ in Hawaii, like 50 players, which was a limited one. That was really fun, and I felt proud of myself. So then I went to that PT, but I had like no testing team, and I like did really poorly. So that was not my best moment. But then I got into Magic Online,
That
which
that
was
was a
like
that was a
super.
paper pro tour, right?
No, it was online. So I never played a paper one. I played 2 online ones.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I went to MTGO, Magic Online, not Arena, which is like very competitive. There's a lot of you can improve really fast there by like all the challenges and the PTQs. They have them every weekend. So I was just really playing that every weekend for like my whole time. I just like kind of carved out a couple hours to do that every weekend. Um, and then I talked to people online, and then I ended up qualifying for another pro tour when I was 17, but they took it away from me because I was gonna be 18 when the pro tour was gonna come around. But like since I didn't qualify when I was 18, it was like
Oh, it was one of the.
not a legal
It
thing.
was in the
Yeah,
rules that you had to be 18 to participate in the
yeah.
qualifier. Ah,
Which I actually didn't know. I thought that when I was 18, I could play. if I even queued at 17. But then that's fine. I had my birthday like a week later, and then I just queued again like randomly. So then I was on the Pro Tour.
What a master.
Yeah. Then I had a really sick testing team with like a bunch of Argentinian and Spanish top tier players. We didn't do quite that well at the Pro Tour. One of our guys got 9th place, but it was a very fun experience.
Which Pro Tour was that? What was the set that?
It was the last one. So the
Streets,
New Capenna.
Streets of New Capenna. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so 2-time Pro Tour, and then just a bunch of Magic Online results. And I'm known in that community, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Or do you stream at all, or?
I used to, but not really anymore.
Okay.
I was thinking of offering coaching soon, though. Just I feel like there's a certain amount of people that would buy that, and you can do that for fun.
Okay. So, like, are you trying to move in the direction of like monetizing the hobby, or it's still like pure, just
I think
like playing for funsies?
Yeah, still for fun, but like I still make money when I'm winning, which is always good.
Yeah.
I feel like if I monetize it too much, I might like have less respect for the game. It might not be as fun anymore.
Yeah, it adds a whole nother layer of stress to it. I think when you're like, oh, your results, you're like dependent on your results.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So double Pro Tours, lots of online play. You've also like, because I remember when I was starting thinking about the youth project, like that was when I like started seeing you and your brother and your dad like starting to come to tournaments. At Planet Hawaiian or DePlanet. They were DePlanet by then. And I remember like having you guys in mind when I started playing or started thinking about the project. And then like when I met you like properly and officially, you guys were like one of the first ones that I was like, hey, do you want to come to these tournaments? But was that around the time? Let's see, I started running the tournaments in 2016. Around then. When did you start like playing paper Magic? Like coming to the local tournaments and stuff like that? How old were you?
So I was playing paper Magic in Seattle before we moved to Hawaii in 2012. So I already had that experience. But
so you moved to Hawaii when you were 10? Yeah. Okay.
And then this was just a great, like, your tournaments were a great opportunity to like delve into like a new format, even like the standard pop thing. I've never heard of that, right? I'm like, what is this? So I was like, okay, let's try to build like the best deck with all these weird cards, and it ended up like being a constructive opportunity to like for me and my brother to work together. But yeah, I was just playing like at the Planet, just like the random F&M things for a bit, I would say.
Okay. So like you moved to Hawaii when you were 10 and you kind of like jumped into playing paper, and you said that you were playing, like, were you going to F&Ms and stuff like even earlier than that? Like how old were you when you
not really
remember
it was
your
more,
first F&M?
Yeah, it was more like the pre-releases. I think the first F&M was around 2015 or something, like kind of similar to when you started your project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I think I was in 3rd grade when I went to my first F&M. And it was like my mind was just blown. I was like seeing all these adults who I thought were like the coolest people in the world, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool.
Yeah.
That's when I fell in love with the game. Awesome. So I know the majority of the youth players that we currently have in our tournaments, for those unaware, I don't I no longer live in Hawaii, so I don't go to the youth tournaments anymore. But Mike Ulip, name drop him. He's doing a great job handling things in Hawaii. But my understanding is that most of the youth players that are playing in our tournaments now, they get into Magic through this project, which I think, so like their first experience playing Magic is like standard Pauper, standard Artisan. I think Mike is switching soon to what is that format called? Pioneer Artisans.
Yeah. Okay.
But like that's kind of like their first introduction to the format, playing against other kids their age. so I think that's a little bit different from your experience. Like you jumped into playing Magic and you're just like playing against all these adults.
Yeah.
So like, and then you went from that to playing against your peers in our youth tournaments. So in terms of like, if any of the kids that may be watching this or that are in the project currently that are thinking about like branching out and going into like the wider Magic ecosystem, do you have any bit of advice for them? Like,
Yeah, I mean, just do it. It's like it's amazing how much like when you're a little kid and you just get like so much respect from the like just the adults that are playing, and then like you just kick their ass and they're like, oh wow, this like little kid, man, he's just running us over. So it's like a whole nother world if you're playing against people that you don't know at all. Like that's what Magic is, right? You sit down across from your opponent, you talk to them, you get to know them better, and then you play against them. I mean, it's a whole nother experience, but it's definitely worth it. Yeah, get to meet a
okay.
lot different ranges of people.
So what if I mean like you've always kind of been gifted at Magic, right? Like it's kind of come naturally to you, but like if somebody a youth player, for instance, is maybe like uncertain if they're going to be able to compete with the big dogs.
Yeah.
Well, what do you have to say to that?
I mean, I'd say just try it first, and then like let's say you go like 03 at your first F&M with like adults, right? That's fine, and then you just like start watching the other people play, get to know the format. As long as you have like you trust yourself to like have your learning capabilities, then you'll improve like very quickly, and you'll start to see Magic as more of just something fun to do with your friends, and you can like start like learning really fast, and it'll be more fun, I think.
Nice. I love that. Yeah, I think Magic is definitely one of the reasons that it's always fascinated me is just because it's like always it's like an endless puzzle, right? Like, so I think the people that are naturally drawn to it, like they want to kind of keep learning, right, and
Yeah.
get a deeper understanding of this puzzle. And I think everybody kind of, I remember my I was in like third or fourth grade when I started going to F&Ms, and I remember being like, it wasn't until I was in like seventh grade that I got my first win at an F&M, right? But it was
Yeah.
like I worked super hard for that win, like it took me shot after shot after shot. So
And you'll always remember that win. That was
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Um, and even it's like you win one game and it's just like yeah, and then you win a match and it's like yeah, and then eventually you work your way up to like winning F&M. But yeah, it seems like from what you're telling me, it seems like just putting in the time is a huge piece of the puzzle.
Mhm.
And I know that our turnover rate in terms of like the kids that come to the tournaments and like enjoy themselves and do well in terms of in our little pool, and then them stepping out, it's a rough transition. But I
Yeah.
I do think that you know and money is one of the factors, I think, right?
Sure.
Because you had a very supportive dad who was willing to like pay your entry fee in the beginning, and
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to have parents that did the same thing. But there's definitely opportunities out there for people to come on in and just spend some time in the community. So
Yeah.
I think that's what we're trying to do with the project, right? Like get kids comfortable with going to card shops, spending time with other people that play Magic, and just have a good time. So this brings us to what we were kind of talking about earlier before we started recording with there's definitely kind of like, I don't want to say it's like a schism in the community, but it's like two different poles in the community, a larger Magic community, right? Like there's the competitive people that want to like win tournaments, and I'd say that describes you and me, right? Like that's what
Yeah.
we were motivated by. But then there's also just like the people that want to hang out with their friends, brew wonky decks, right, and just enjoy playing the game. Um, like I'd say like Commander is probably
Yeah.
the um, the format of choice for that aspect of
Yeah.
the community, right? Would you have any advice for kids in terms of like if they are thinking about
Which route to go.
gravitating towards a certain way.
Yeah. They're like totally different. Like once you're experienced, if you just want to keep playing for fun, that's completely fine. You'll have a lot more fun probably than going down the competitive route. But the thing is, like, when you're starting out, both of those poles are like very similar, and you don't really know which one you have more fun or more desire to go down. So you can try them both. Like I was playing a lot of Commander with my friends when I started, and I was dabbling in the competitive scene with all the adults at the FNMs, whatever. So I would just say try them both and see which one you like more. But if you surround yourself with better people, then I would say the competitive one will pull you more in. So that just keep that in mind if you are leaning towards one way.
Yeah, like the Commander side of things, it's definitely a lot more fun, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, I think just it's a lot more chaotic, right? And there's a lot more room for like politics and stuff. So like you're interacting with the table more. But then there is like the one-on-one side that's a lot more cut and dry. And I think you brought up a good point that when you surround yourself with better players, then you're just naturally going to get better. So I think that was one of the things that really helped me when I was at that point in my Magic journey of being a kid. I would just always go. There was a group of guys who were all in college when I was in like middle school, and they would play Wednesday night, $5 entry fee, winner take all, like standard or draft or something. They called it King of the Hill, and I would go every week and just like basically give these people my money. But I did that for like a year or two, and it definitely made me a better Magic player.
It's a cool story. Yeah.
But yeah, that definitely is on the more competitive side. I can honestly say I've never built a Commander deck. I'm probably really bad at Commander. So.
But there's also a lot of fun to be gained from the competitive side, like especially if you, even with your friends, right? You set up like a little team with you and a couple of your buddies, and then you try to brew this like crazy deck that turns out to be really good against all the other decks at the time that people are playing. And then you whatever, bring it to an FNM and you win the tournament, right? That's like very fun. You feel very proud of yourself.
Yeah, solving a format is definitely like one of the big rushes that you can get as a competitive player. And you're right that you definitely need to have like a group of people if you want to successfully do it. So like, and as the way that we have the youth tournament structured is, we have the scholarship tournament at the end of right now we have it about every 6 months, right? So there's like the tournaments that lead up to it. You have your chance to take the shots at it, understand the format, and then usually the scholarship tournament is like right after a new set comes out. So it's like, I mean, I'm not saying it's like a pro tour, but it's like like the pro tour. Yeah. The pro tour is always like right after a new set comes out to like give everyone that thrill of trying to solve a new format. And so if you and your friends just sit down and you're like, okay, we know what cards are coming out, right? We know what's been good in the previous format. We're gonna take our shot at breaking this. It's a thrill. I'll tell you that. Okay. Cool. So, in terms of looking back on your experience as a youth player, playing for basically your whole life, 13 years, right? What impact do you think that playing Magic like had on you in terms of shaping you into the stand-up gentleman of an adult that you now are?
Well, I think I'm much better at like social skills. Just because, at a Magic tournament, you can just say, hey, what's going on to anybody in the room and ask them what deck they're playing. It doesn't even have to be about Magic, but you always have that, enjoyment of just meeting a new person. And I feel like I'm much more analytical now. I like tend to evaluate like kind of everything in my life to a point of even evaluating a Magic card, right? Like you kind of got to take everything into account. And I'm much more outgoing with like team activities, even in like high school or whatever. I've always wanted to jump on those because I feel like everybody's important. Magic teams, whatever. And yeah, it's just been a hell of a run, and I met so many amazing people. And like this summer alone, and I guess last summer in Seattle, like I had like 4 friends from like California or whatever. They came up to visit me, and I literally never met them before in person. I just met them from online. They were just kids. So just randomly like meeting new people, them flying out to see me and stay at my house for like a couple weeks. It's just like amazing.
Yeah, you definitely make some crazy good friends.
Yeah.
On the Magic circuit.
Yeah.
Cool. So moving forward, what are your goals?
I would say I want to like qualify for another pro tour, which is like I have to go to Atlanta first this season, and then do well at that. Like I have to get top 48 or whatever, then I qualify for the next pro tour.
Wait, so you're already qualified for Atlanta? That's the one that...
No, I'm not, but I'm like pretty sure I can qualify in the next couple weeks.
Okay, so how much longer is the qualifier season window?
It's like I think 2 months or something.
Okay.
Maybe 1.5 months.
And
but that'll be... It's Pioneer.
So you're just grinding a bunch of Pioneer qualifiers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, once that happens, I don't know. I really want to balance my, college life. So I probably want to go down less on the Magic route. The problem is like if I qualify for this thing, I would like probably need to go more all in for like a month. So that might be difficult, like you said at the start. Try to not half-ass them both, but yeah, it should be fun. And I've made a community of kids online, which I like wrote my college essay about and stuff. It's like really interesting, and I just want to see that to keep growing, and bringing in more support. But yeah, it's been very fun.
I look forward to seeing how you thread that needle in terms of because like if you keep taking shots, I'm sure that you'll end up with lots of opportunities to play. But you're absolutely right that it's hard to juggle it, because I remember my like last 4 pro tours, I was like already like living with my wife back when we were just dating, and just even like being in a relationship where I'm like living with somebody else and like trying to manage a full-time job and like, trying to do adult things. Like it's hard to put all that on hold and just be like, I'm going to just play Magic for like 24 hours a day for like 2 weeks leading up to this tournament. Like it's hard to do that. So, like you're going to find that it's hard to do that with like college classes, and it's only going to get harder to do that as you progress more through life. So trying to keep like 1 foot in and 1 foot out, it's an interesting dance, but I look forward to seeing how you navigate that. Yeah.
Thank you for this advice. Speaking from yourself, it's I'll see what happens, but yeah, I can see it definitely being difficult.
Yeah. Definitely, like you're definitely doing it right in terms of like finding a good community of people, because like I had 1 pro tour where I was just trying to like work on it myself, and like I didn't even try and get a testing team going, and the results spoke for themselves. So definitely like outsource as much as you can to the team while still contributing to the team, and you'll find your balance. And just enjoy it. Like, you're young.
That's a good reminder.
If you're not having fun, then you're doing it wrong. So
that's true.
Make sure that you are still enjoying it.
Yeah, there were some games in that pro tour where I was playing against like LSV or something, and I had like the win. I was so far ahead, and I ended up like. He ended up like outplaying me for like 3 turns in a row, and I got into this situation where I could not believe it, but I had like 0 outs anymore, and I'm like, I just like fell to the floor, and I'm like, holy, But yeah, I don't want to be in that situation again. So it's a good point to always have fun. Remember what the game is about.
Yeah. Well, because I feel like in those moments where you're like, oh, I'm playing against the best of the best. I need to like prove myself here. That's when you like stop having fun, and then also like the part of your brain that like actually allows you to make good plays and stuff also turns off
Yeah.
because you're just
Yeah,
stressing out.
you definitely play the best when you're having fun. You're like, vibing with the game. You're just going off of intuition. You're definitely, yeah.
For sure. Cool, man. So do you have like a public Twitter or like a social media platform that people can
Yeah.
follow you at, or if they
Sure.
want
It's
to
just
continue watching the journey of Julian?
yeah. It's just Juju Bean _ 2004 on Twitter, or you can just search up my name.
Juju, like
Juju Bean.
Juju.
Jujubean. Yeah, it's my Magic Online name. People know me
Okay.
by that, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's your Twitter handle.
Yeah.
I'm an old man. I'm not on Twitter, but
Yeah. Hey, you actually convinced me to get on Twitter, and you said that was the scene where everything goes down. So I was like, okay, I'll listen to him, and then it worked out.
yes. That was my kernel of advice for you of like if I wanted to go all in on immersing myself in the Magic community, that's what I would do. But I don't do it because
Yeah.
I already spend way too much time doing nothing on social media, and then my productivity would just go to zero if I was on Twitter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that worked out for you. Cool. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out to record this interview. I hope that some people out there find it useful, and I'm super stoked for you moving forward into the adult world.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I hope your the project grows to the miss even a little bit.
Yeah,
And yeah, to all the kids, just keep grinding if you can, and hopefully your parents will allow you some support, like my dad did. It's always good.
yeah, definitely. I feel like with Arena now, like you can be free to play. It's not like the old
Yeah.
days with Magic Online where you had to pay real money to even
Yeah.
get started. But yeah, definitely. If you love the game, there is a community out there for you, and you just have to find it. And hopefully,
Yep.
this project will give you the beginnings of that. So, all right, man. Well, that is it for us. Thank you all for listening to the end and stopping by. And yeah, have a great day.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right.